when it came to me, this is what I want to do, and that's how I can find community, and that's how I can create community. No offense, but for women and girls especially, because it's harder, I feel, for us to be here. When we were back home, I mean, I grew up also back home in homeland. Yani, you're at home, you have, your cousin is the house next door. I mean, that's how it was for me. You have other sisters in the neighborhood. Yani, we're like, even if you're not related with blood, it's like family, and you're never bored. You're always with someone. And here I felt like it's isolated. It's, Yani, it's not the same thing. Even when we're a family, it's like one family here, one family there. It's not always easy to feel the community. We used to make the couscous together. We used to make the food together. It was huge gatherings of women and kids. We didn't even need anything. You don't need to go anywhere. You're just in your neighborhood. Since we don't have this here, I created a program. It's called Dar Brooklyn, Darbuka For Her. The health benefits of lab of learning and playing drums and singing. So there's science research that show that when we play a drum, the heartbeat and the blood pressure goes down. العصب and you become peaceful. It's like a meditation or something. You don't have to play in public. You don't have to do anything. Just the fact of playing is already good for your health. The fact that your body, your brain, is what happens exactly like in neuroscience. When you hear a rhythm, the brain waves, they start synchronizing, because by default it's kind of like noise. Even you, like when you're in your daily life, there's a little voice that's always talking, like a radio in the background. You even want to shut it up, it's always working, right? It's like blah, 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 blah. You see something good, you're like, oh, that's great. You see something bad, I don't like, I don't like, I agree, I don't agree. It's very noisy in the head, so we're not present, right? But when you play, for example, a drum, all of this, the waves in the brain, they synchronize inside each area, and they synchronize between areas, and it brings it's as if like it harmonizes to everything in the body, because the brain commands your physiology, the brain commands how you think, the brain commands your strength, even the brain commands the level of inflammation, which is the base to pretty much all diseases, even like brain diseases. So that's like another health benefit. Another health benefit of drumming that they found in research, and what I just said is also like even more so when you do it in group. When you do it in group, why do we have all these الفرح يعني? You see people play together, sing together. It's not just for fun. It's also because millennia, hundreds and hundreds of centuries, people have been doing that because they find peace and connection for the community. And it's also a way through the singing, for example, and storytelling that usually goes with the drumming. It's also a way to keep the memory and the history of the community. So that, and it's also a way of creating new things for the community. For example, you can say like, I don't know, you can make a song even saying, I will be rich and be the mayor, and like singing this, it with people, it makes it more and more like you believe it. تتشجع يعني. So there's very beautiful things that you can do with this art form. And another research body that has been very documented is around mental health. And this is very important for little ones and for big ones. But when you're little, what you do will shape your brain. So the more your brain is relaxed and clear, the more when you grow up, you're not going to be angry, or at least not as much. You will be able to function under high pressure, like school. Music is very good for school. The statistics show that kids and even adults, but in this case kids who do music, who learn music, have higher grades and go to better schools, much better, like the fancy schools and stuff, because music, it makes you clear, so it's easier for you to solve math problems, it's easier for you to learn languages, it's easier for you to do so many things, because when the brain is quiet and peaceful, you can solve anything. So yes, so there's a lot of health benefits, and one of them is for PTSD, for example, any trauma. They found that it helps. It's one of the way of getting rid of trauma reaction. So for those who don't know exactly how it works, when you have a trauma, it's like something in the past happened and triggered a survival reaction. You feel bad about it, and it stayed in your brain, especially when your brain is growing. And now it stays something that when you see that same situation, you're going to feel the same way. But when you're like this, you cannot focus on school, you cannot focus on work, and you cannot function even socially. So being able to quiet down and have a practice, whatever practice you choose, have a practice that settles you down, those trauma reactions, they disappear. Is great for aging. So research showed that drumming and singing slows down the aging of the brain and the body. Of the body, why? Because it is cardio exercise. Except that instead of running, you're doing it with your hands. So even someone who is in a wheelchair can actually do that. Someone who's aging can actually do that. One of my programs is with the Bay Ridge Senior Center, and I teach women who are between 60 and 90 something, the Darbuka and singing. And it's great because I was able, subhanallah, I was able to teach students who had strokes. They had strokes, with the fingers a bit like this and all that. They were like they cannot pronounce well, or they forget quick. And by doing these practices, it actually, it's like rehabilitation. Like she was able, for example, the one that had the finger like that, she was able to like follow. I even have a student who's like 87. She's legally deaf. Legally deaf. يعني هي جات and أقول يا ربي and I wanted to like teach her, and I think I was like calling her. I was like, please show me how I do that, because I don't want her to be excluded. And you know what? I was able to teach her drum in one class, even though there was a lot of noise and she couldn't hear at the beginning. I could show her with touch and with visual and with love and patience, because I put in my head, this could be my mother, this could be my grandmother. And little by little, to be frank, it took her 15 minutes only, and she was playing like, she was doing something like a, she was able to play that better than the ones that could hear, subhanallah, and she kept the beat for everyone. And the woman, you talk to her, nada, nothing. She doesn't even give the phone to the center because she cannot hear in the phone. Another side is for Alzheimer people with, if you have aging parents or grandparents, you can put music for them, music of when they were young, and that actually triggers in the brain the whole set of motor commands and abilities that they had. There's a woman that is known for that. She's online. She's like 90 something. She's subhanallah, Allah barak, she's like, she's like this. She's like in that nursing home. You see her like that in the chair. They put the music. When she was young, she was a ballet dancer. She's like, I don't know, American, Russian, but she's like, right? They put the music, and the woman, you see her like that, they're kind of like this. Nothing's happening. I give him the food and the water and خليه وحده مسكين. But no, they put the music of, I don't know, some classical that she knows. Wallah, she stands like that. She doesn't stand out of her chair because she cannot. And she starts doing the movement, graceful movement. You would think it's a 12-year-old kid, healthy, and she was smiling. She was fully herself. Why? Because music can actually trigger and bring out what you already had. And this is magical, because when you're Alzheimer's patient or senile, or when you have any other actually mental, even autism, if you have like any mental thing that has you be stuck and not connect with people, that brings you back to your loved ones. So there's so many good things about the health, in health with music, and also for school.
Is it haram?
I wasn't raised with music haram. It's not haram. No, it's a good question. Then, okay, for this, for example, very good question, Habibti, very good question. So in terms of how is the music, يعني حرام ولا مش حرام? Music is not, look, sir, please, you want to come at the front to the workshop? تفضل. But this is like, we are a community that we don't come all from all places, and also even inside the same family, everybody doesn't have the same opinion. This is an opinion. There's nowhere in the Quran, as far as I know, where it is said that music is haram. القرآن أنا نمشي بالقرآن الحديث is human beings يعني this is أنا my family you cannot tell my family is not Muslim for example
لما استقبلوه في المدينة ليش استقبلوه؟
صحيح الله يفرحك thank you even في تشفينتنا for example يجيبوا يعني هي ماشي فرقة يعني هم يعني they read prayers and they use البدير for example. This is something you do also when people pass away where I come from. يعني anyway, thank you and thank you for raising your concern. One of the reasons why drumming, for example, is very good is that it helps you train your brain to stay focused no matter what happens around. In life, you want to be able to follow your path, and no matter what somebody or something throws at you, you keep the path. The rock comes in the way, you get up, you come back. And that focus is what allows you to come back. Falling off a horse is something good. Why? Because you get stronger at getting back on the horse. That's why also when you make a mistake, it's an opportunity to strengthen your ability to always come back on track. It's resilience, okay? Very good. Tap.